I really encourage you to get more whole grains into your diet because they have very special types of fibre there that are particularly good for your gut. So I'm going to use wholemeal couscous today. So we want about a cup of stock to a cup of our couscous. And the stock is just going to add some extra flavour, extra depth of flavour into our salad. So wholemeal couscous is just such a nice way to either use it as an alternative to rice, or you can use it in the salad as I'm going to today. So I'm just going to heat my stock, bring it up to a simmer. I'll pop my wholemeal couscous into a bowl, along with just a teaspoonful of cumin, because I'm going to go for North African type flavours here in my salad, which I just absolutely adore. So I've just mixed my cumin through there. I'll add a splash, maybe about a tablespoon or so of extra virgin olive oil and a little salt. So you'll see that wholemeal couscous is a little darker than regular couscous, and that's the wholemeal. And it's a really nice way of getting some whole grains into your diet because it cooks so quickly compared to some other whole grains. So I'm just going to pour my stock over the top. Give this a good mix so that that cumin and the olive oil is dispersed through. And I'm going to pop some Glad wrap on top and let this sit to the side for about 5 minutes or so, literally until the stock is all absorbed into the couscous, and then we fluff it up with a fork and it's ready to go into our salad. It is that quick. And you know what? I think it's got a really fantastic flavour. It's nuttier, chewier than regular couscous. So I'll set that to one side. Now we want to prepare our salad dressing. So of course I'm going to use some extra virgin olive oil, pinch of salt, the juice of a lemon. So roughly speaking, when you make these salad dressings with extra virgin olive oil, you want roughly a 3-to-1 ratio of your oil to whatever acid you're using. So whether that's vinegar or whether you're using lemon juice or lime juice, other citrus, orange is also fantastic actually in this salad. My sweetness is going to come from some honey. And then because I want those North African flavours, I'm adding some paprika and a little more cumin. Give that a little mix. So we'll just set our dressing aside for a moment. That just lets the flavours all come together very nicely. Now, how do you get the arils out of a pomegranate without making a complete mess of yourself? Well, let's see if I can actually do it. I have seen on Instagram so many different ways of doing this, and you know what? None of them really work. I find it's all to do with how fresh your pomegranate is. If you've got a beautifully fresh pomegranate, as I have here, it definitely makes it easier. If you pull them apart, shake it, give them a light little tap, the arils all fall out beautifully. This is actually one of the highest antioxidant fruits that we can get. So it's well worth adding. And you know what? It just adds a lovely crunch and texture to your salads. It's going to work beautifully in this North African flavoured salad we're doing today. So let's take a look at this couscous now. Just take a fork and look at that. See how it just fluffs up beautifully, and that is how you want it to be. So I've got some chopped tomatoes, red onion, and some cucumber, and just chop them all quite small for these vegetables so that the couscous doesn't get lost in great big chunks of veggies. Now here's how the North African twist comes in. We pop in some chickpeas. So this is a really fibre-rich salad. It's lovely for your gut. Dried apricots and some pistachios, one of my favourite nuts. They work really, really well in a salad. Now I want some fresh herbs as well. So I've got some fresh mint and some fresh parsley, and I'm just going to roughly chop that. If you've got some fresh herbs in your garden, these are perfect because they'll be so fresh, vibrant, and slightly crunchy, and that's what we want. So I'm going to put about half of them, or just over half, into the salad to mix through. The rest I'll keep just to sprinkle over the top. And finally, I've got some grated carrot here. Mix the veggies and the couscous all through. And put a little more salt in at this stage. And then here's our dressing. Pop that over the top and stir it through. You could prep this ahead of time. Great for taking to work in a lunchbox. Because you don't have leafy greens in there, it stores really well in your fridge. So now I'm just going to get my platter for serving. And then pile your salad. And this is one that I would serve with a North African style meal or a Middle Eastern style meal in the middle of the table. Lovely. Now, the pomegranate is just what so nicely finishes this off with a nice burst of that purple colour. So just those final fresh herbs on the top, and that is going to look just divine in the centre of your table.